All right, guys. I hope nobody got caught out there in the storm. A lot of rainy weather coming our way. Today we have a really good topic for all of you, whether say professionals. We're talking about the new HAR update whenever it comes to commission and also steering. But before we get into that, I would like our guests to go ahead and introduce themselves, and we'll jump right into the topics.
Hey, thanks, Giovanni, for having me here, and Nate and Flor. Good afternoon. My name is Mario Martinez. I am a new sales professional, and you can find me at Mario A. Martinez in every social media platform.
Flor Velasquez with Lionsgate Realty. I'm an agent, and my specialty is farm and ranch.
Yeah, my name is Nathan Valderas. I'm the acting broker for Lionsgate Realty, and you can find me on all my social media outlets at Better Call Nate.
As realtors, we have our fiduciary duties, right? And according to HAR, those have changed because now we have to display those up front. And according to HAR, all our fiduciary duty is pretty much just commission. Did you guys have a chance to go over the new update that they have? Supposedly was going to be implemented.
I did not because I do what I want.
Okay. So what they're talking about is the fact that whenever it comes to commissions, right, and the way that we present them to not only our seller, whenever it used to be agreed upon, hey, you know what, the seller is going to pay this much to the listing agent, and the listing agent will split that in half or whatever the listing agent is going to do with it, whether it be a quarter, whether it be a half, but it's presented to the seller first, and then it's listed on the MLS, so there was nothing hidden. Now that they're taking it away, they're saying that that's going to remove steering. However, I think that it's going to steer even more people. And now the people who are going to be doing the steering, I think it's going to be the buyers. Because now the buyers are going to say, you know what? I can't afford to buy that house because I have to pay for my own commissions on it now from my buyer's agent versus this other house down the street who's willing to pay for buyer's commission. Even though this is the house that I like, I'm going to steer myself.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because in that update, it says that this will also keep buyers agents from steering and the buyers, which I never knew that the buyers steered themselves, which I think that's what they're supposed to do, no?
No, the buyers,
They're supposed to steer themselves, no?
the buyers.
The
agents?
buyers. No,
the buyers.
the buyers.
No, the buyers.
Buyers are supposed to steer themselves.
I guess they're supposed to steer themselves, but I guess buyers are not buying property anymore. They're looking for the most discounts. They're looking for the most incentives and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why there's so many builders, capitalizing on that. But there's always been steering. Unfortunately, it's human nature. I mean, you can't. I've always thought that was a stupid law, right? Because if you want your house to sell, you offer more commission, you offer more incentives, you offer more everything. Well, why do you do that if there's no such thing as steering? This isn't gallery furniture, where they don't get paid off commission. I mean, we get paid off commission. We know we get paid off, and so it's impossible to eradicate or eliminate steering. What NAR has done has only made it worse because now there's going to be blatant steering, right? And so I guess what are they expecting? Do they expect for a realtor to represent, a buyer for free? To say, hey, I'm going to show you this house. They don't pay any commission, but because, I'm such a great person and I don't want to steer you and it's unethical, I'm going to help you out anyways, right? And so let's just say we do that, right? Because let's just say, I want to help somebody. I say, I'm going to help them out. I don't care about commission. I'm just going to represent them. I'm going to do the contract and do all the work, right? I found out probably about 2 months ago, that my errors and omissions has changed. If I do a contract with no compensation, I'm not covered. So it's like, okay, how does that work, right? Like, where do we go from here? NAR supposedly trying to fix a steering
One
problem
issue.
or fixing whatever issue that they thought they had. They're only going to make things worse. And
But wasn't a steering just meant to bind fair housing?
Yes, it was.
So how now changing the commission is going to be considered as quote unquote steering?
Because if there's a certain area that's doing higher commissions, and you take your people there for the higher commissions, you're steering that person to a home that they might not have chosen if you wouldn't have convinced them to do that.
Well, the issue there is the buyer is going to choose a home that they can afford. So if they can't afford to pay the commissions, is the realtor really steering, or is the buyer choosing not to go there? That's the question,
That's the $1 million question.
right? So I think
And that
that's- go
question
ahead.
can generate so many issues, like more than the ones that we already have.
The problem is that simple question, right? It branches off into many different directions, right? Okay, because let's say you have a house that's $250 and the seller's agent is willing to let it go for 3% on the buyer side because that person bought it years ago. Then you have another house where the seller's agent can't pay nothing but 0.5%, right? Now, if the buyer chooses to say, you know what, I can only pay you as the buyer's agent 1%. And they're like, you know what, this one's paying 3%, so it's going to cover even more than what you're telling me. And this was only paying 0.5%, so now you got to cover another percent on top of that. If the buyer chooses to go with the 3%, did the realtor steer them there? Because those are the two houses that they presented in front of them, and they knew that they were going to choose this house. Is that steering? As a broker, how would you defend yourself there?
I mean, I don't want to defend myself on air, but
No, but like how this podcast is for realtors, right? Let's say a
Yeah,
realtor
yeah.
who's looking for guidance, and they need to fall within a broker who's going to understand how to move forward within this market. This change is going to happen sooner or later. There might be a change to us like in the next 2 weeks because they keep changing it, they keep updating and pushing it back.
yeah.
But if it sticks to where it's at now, I mean, how are you guiding your realtors?
I mean, I would have to see everything. I would have to see what the actual. I mean, because it's not even settled yet. I mean, we don't even know exactly what's going to happen. I know that Hard has pulled a bunch of
Forms.
forms off Trek, or I mean, off the
MLS.
MLS. But I mean, you know, I have to see what I'm working with before I start making decisions on how we're going to move forward with any kind of scenario. You know, because it looks like they're going back into a lawsuit, right? So
Yes.
I mean, we
Separate from
lawsuit,
this,
yeah.
the
I mean,
DOJ has said that it wasn't sufficient what they had agreed upon the last time, which is ridiculous. They agreed upon something, and now the DJ is coming back and saying, you know what, no, we want even more. So, and Hard just keeps bending over. I mean, NAR keeps bending over, so who knows what they're going to be given now.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't know, Chiquito, what other one are they going to give next? Which one? I don't know.
Okay, but so how then it's going to be like, affected if what NAR now wants is for us realtors to have a buyer's rep signed even before, showing anything, any houses whatsoever, even, getting somebody pre-approved. And in that agreement, we are going to stipulate what's going to be our pay.
The issue is, right, NAR is going to release some forms that are updated whenever it comes to the commission, right? The problem here is the statement that NAR released, what does it say? In theory. This is a theoretical.
That it's
Okay,
not
so-
even real.
Exactly. So in theory, this could happen. So all NAR is doing is trying to protect themselves. And you know what they're saying is, you realtors, y'all figure it out. Brokers, y'all figure it out. If y'all get in trouble, we said in theory this could be an issue. But really, if you're looking out for your buyer's best interest, your seller's best interest, if in your seller's best interest it is to pay 6% so they can sell that house faster because they need to move out of state, is it steering them in that direction to pay you even more? Is that steering? In theory, it could be. And that's what NAR is saying. So what are they leaving it up to? They're leaving it up to the brokers. Y'all figure it out. You get with your lawyers. Realtors, even though we take your money, you get with your broker.
But if we get to that point, like, lawyers never agree upon to what one wrote and the other one misunderstood and, understood something completely different. And then the one that was writing it was trying to say something that nobody really, caught during that in exchange of.
What I think is happening, I think NAR is waiting to see what the DOJ is going to say. Whatever the DOJ is going to come back to them at, whatever they think that it's responsible.
And that would be the smartest thing to do.
And I think that's what they're waiting on. They're just sending out all of these theories. Hey, y'all be careful. We're not saying what you can and can't do. In theory, this is wrong. But there's a bunch of other stipulations in between that could happen. That could change this theory. And I think that's what NAR is doing.
It's
For
like
now.
just like I told you, or like I was talking about in Spanish podcast, right? I said, real realtors, right, or the real professional real estate agents, or brokers, we don't care about none of that. We're still gonna make money. We're still gonna get ours. To me, this is actually a blessing because it eliminates all the part timers. It eliminates all the realtors that don't know what they're doing. It eliminates a lot of things, and I was saying that, right now there's 4 people up here, right, with different years of experience and different niches, right. But if somebody walked in, right, and was interviewing all 4 of us right here, it'll make no difference to them who they would pick. They would pick the person they like the most to go represent them in finding a home. Why? Well, in their eyes or in their opinion, it doesn't cost them anything. It's free, right? And that's what a lot of people have been led to believe. Now, if they have to start paying for it, and they come here and we say, hey, you know what? You have to pay your commission. Well, then they're going to be like, well, what do you do? What is your expertise? What are you going to do for me? How are you going to represent me? And so, not luckily, but a good thing is that a lot of realtors don't know what they do. They don't know what their experience or their expertise or they don't know what they're doing. So they're going to be eliminated immediately. And that's going to get rid of a lot of agents. The only thing that I don't like is that, you're going to have the consumer, right? And I think this is something that Giovanni has said a lot, right? He says the consumer is going to suffer and the consumer is going to this, right? And because you're going to have buyers that are going to come and they're going to say, I don't care what your expertise is. What are you charging me? Right? And you're going to have these realtors with no experience and these realtors that have nothing to offer saying, give me $500. Give me $1,000, right? And they will go with that person to save money. It's the notary public way of doing business, and Giovanni was saying that it's the consumer, but you know what? It's a very small percentage of the market that's going to be doing that, and you know what? Good for them. I hope that they run into this mess, and I hope they learn their lesson. And honestly, in my opinion, anybody who takes, goes with a realtor for less commission and less this and less that, or uses a notary, you know what? I'm glad, they deserve what they get, honestly, in my opinion, right? But I think that professional realtors, right, we're going to fall by the way of an attorney, and it just goes just like attorney, and I was saying this earlier, I said, when you're in trouble, right, or when you need something done, or when you really have knowledge of what you're getting yourself into, what's happening to you, or of an injustice that's happening to you, you go and you hire a real attorney, the best that you can. You don't care what it costs you. Shoot, I'll put you on a payment plan for my commission if you want, And then you're going to have of course, the ones that don't understand and they just say, hey, can you help me please? And they're, give me $1,000 retainer, and they put them on the back burner, And you know what? That's what they get. That's just what's going to happen. And it's inevitable. People just, they don't know how to function in business here and with real estate. They think real estate is like finding an apartment or like finding a rental, and it's just not, So like I said, I'm not worried about it at all. I foresee a lot of things, and I'm taking care of myself and my realtors, and I'm training them. I'm going to show them how to maneuver through these rough waters.
So this is like the 4th or 5th podcast where you say, as a broker, that you're not worried about the settle, right? That the real realtor or the real expertise within this market is going to win. Now, my problem is, not my problem, but my concern is that this is not necessarily a buyer or a seller's podcast. This is a podcast for real estate agents, real estate professionals who want to understand where the market is heading to. And of course, you as a broker here should have that expertise within the company. But whenever you say the topical words, what does that mean? What does it mean whenever you say you're not worried? Why are you not worried? Like how how do you where do you see the path forward for realtors in this business? What should a realtor even be looking for within a
So-
brokerage to guide them down the right path to where they're not worried either?
So the thing about it is that I'm going to tell you this. You know, I'm going to give you insider secrets, right, or insider information. Okay. Surprise! I don't make money by having a brokerage. Owning a brokerage is not making me money to where I can sit at home and relax. If it was, I would be in another country enjoying the money that you guys are making me, right? You guys know this, right? Because of outsiders, right? And I always talk about this, right? I talk about, tech brokers, and not just tech brokers, tech companies, that come in here and they try to take the business of all the real estate agents, right? They are all funneling money from Texas to other states, all over, okay? And because of that, independent brokers like myself, right, have panicked, and they have hired real estate agents on their terms. They've given them very low commission splits, very low caps, just essentially just be with me. Just make me look like I have a lot of agents, make me look strong.
Have bodies.
Let me have bodies. That's what they've done, right? And so these agents have essentially built real estate companies within a real estate company and running it, with their, and I always say this, right? And people get upset, with their stupid logos, their stupid policies, their stupid, videos, and they've forgotten what we do here. They've forgotten why we're real estate brokers, right? And so, unfortunately, they are not. I lost my freaking train of thought.
Let me rephrase this.
Go ahead.
And I'm gonna ask Flor, and then of course Mario will go next to you, and then I'll go back to
Okay.
Nate so he can gather his thoughts. What should be the expectations, or what expectations are you setting, Flor, for your sellers and your buyers moving forward if this is implemented? Do you have a game plan already? Have you been talking to your managers, your brokers? Is there any advice that you've been given, or are you just
Yes.
winging it?
No, definitely.
Don't give the game plan up.
I mean, I'm not gonna give the game plan, but no,
Yeah.
definitely. I think it's something, we're in a situation where, if you're under a broker, it's highly, highly important that you're actually with a broker that can sit next to you and explain to you and help you, navigate every single situation. I'm so against, and I wouldn't even consider, and I had never considered going to a brokerage where, you can even get your broker on the phone to explain to you and to help you, get out of, any situation that you might find yourself into with, any difficult deal that, we're all
Yeah.
run into that scenario, can run into that scenario maybe, once a month, once a week. I mean, who knows? And honestly, I feel like with all of these changes, those scenarios are going to be in front of us a lot more often than they used to. So being with with somebody that it's there to help you now, I think it's extremely important, as an agent, if you want to keep on being an agent, and still do business. And what I foresee from this is that, I mean, I'm still gonna do business. I mean, this is not going to scare me. I mean, I feel like if you don't know really what's coming, what are you scared of?
Yeah.
I mean, do we really know what's coming? I mean,
No.
really,
Nobody
nobody
does.
knows.
Yeah, I don't even know what's coming. I can predict what's coming. I mean, I have an idea what's coming, and all I know is that I'm going to be ready, and my agents that listen to me and are actually doing what I'm telling them to do, they're going to be ready. But the thing is, I can't really say, I get it, right? We're talking to other realtors, right? But I really don't want to give up my game plan. I really don't want to give up my secrets that of how we're going to survive, because at the end of the day, if you're not with me, you're against me. And that's just my opinion. And I see people that are going to go by the wayside. I'm looking at them. I mean, they're over there saying things and doing things, and I'm just like, man, poor guy. He doesn't know that his position is really not going to exist, you know? And so once again, I really want to stress that if I will say this, if you don't want to, I guess you have to be a salesperson, pretty much. You have to be a salesperson.
What does that mean, though?
I
feel like you sound like right now. You sound like every other talking head that we rail against on Instagram.
You're right. So the thing is this, I'll tell you.
So let's do a deep dive and let's actually try and teach the public who wants to learn. Let's actually try and teach them.
You're going to have to be a salesperson.
What does that mean?
A salesperson, it looks for, they troubleshoot, they convince, they walk the person. I mean, a salesperson finds out what the person really needs and really wants, okay? Because, and I've said this before, a new home buyer doesn't know what they want. The way they know to buy homes is by movies, by shows, by all kinds of stuff, by things that that they saw their mom and dad do, their friends do. They don't know that their first home is not going to be a dream home. And sometimes you have to sit there and you have to ask them questions that they don't know anything about, And it's really tough, And so right now, for the last 3-4 years, people are going opening doors. Oh, I love this place. Oh, it's $600 a month. Okay, boom, it's yours. And I'm exaggerating, right, with the price. But yes, the prices were super low, for monthly because of interest rates. Now they're fighting interest rates. They're fighting monthly payments. They're fighting prices. You know what I'm saying? And then you're taking the commission away from the buyer. And then you're taking the commission away from the seller too, because now there's buyers saying, "Hey, I don't have to pay commission to them, so I want to pay you less commission." So all these things together, can you finesse your way out? Or I don't want to say finesse, but can you sell your way or sell your value to somebody to be able to overcome those hurdles?
How do you sell your value, Mario? Because
Yes.
you're new home sales. How do you sell your value?
All right. Excellent topic. Thank you, Flor. Nate said you have to become a salesperson, and honestly, you have to be aggressive in every aspect.
Yeah, definitely.
Example, as a new home sales consultant for the past 25 years and future realtor. Good news are coming. So, and I'm excited. I'm gonna share this little thing. My wife is a realtor. And she'll be joining a very amazing brokerage very soon, so I'm not going to spoil the beans. So check this out. So I had a friend of mine, okay, that we've helped the family. They needed to sell their home and anything from friends and family, right? And it's the worst thing you could do. I think my time is valuable. My time is money. My time is essence, and I'm not going to work for free. If you're a doctor and you want to give me, a prescription, I know I have to pay you. I know you have to collect my insurance. So I'm going to do the same thing. This scenario, so we gave him comps on the area in Baytown. Baytown's hot. I think I've always said it. We gave him this, we gave him that, because there were people that we knew. You don't have to get a contract, no problem. Well, guess what? We hustle and bustle that house. We were out of the country. We were in Colombia. He must have happened to run into somebody that was interested. We came back. Well, this person canceled the listing with us. And long story short, they sold the house to somebody. And because we didn't have a contract, she could do that. She's just like, hey, I don't want to list it anymore. So guess what? There will be contracts. My same neighbor right across, he came up to me and he said, hey, Mario, my family member charges me 1%. Hey, man, can you do it? Please help us. We've known you for a long time. And because I'm nice, and you have to say no a lot of times. We said, okay, no problem. I said, we'll charge you 1%. It's an easy subdivision. It's going to sell easy. We got the comps. My house is for in the market. No problem. Then he has the audacity to come and knock on my door and says, hey, man, we're thinking of this. Instead of you or your wife listing the house, can you give me some of the leads that you're getting for your house and then tour my house? And I said, I said, I could do that. I could show you your house. But then he asked me for a contract. He says, can you print me a contract? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, I want to see if I can do an owner finance. I said, you know what a contract implicates? I don't want to give you a contract. Something happens. Guess who's reliable? The realtor. Mm-hmm. And how much are you paying me? Nothing. So you have to tell them no. And I don't know exactly what, like the laws that are going to happen, but I think that when it comes down to charging the seller, I'm going to charge them what my time is worth. And if it's going to be 6%, it's going to be 6%. If it's going to be 9%, it's going to be 9%. If you want to get the guy that's going to charge you 1% or lower, I promise you the house is going to stay in the market for a long time. And then you're going to be probably late. And you don't want that. So that is my opinion. I said it in the new home industry. If somebody comes and says, well, because next door is giving this and that, I'm sorry, this is what I offer. Because my time is valuable. Yeah. And you have to be hustling for that.
There's this comment here real quick that I found interesting, right? And this is in New Jersey. I don't know if Texas has done this yet, but it says the language in our new buyer agency agreement in New Jersey gives the buyer the option to opt out of seeing homes where they have to pay X above commission out of pocket.
That's actually a great idea.
That's actually a really great idea. So up front, the buyer's agreeing, hey, you know what? Above 2%, I am not paying.
Yeah.
So if it's only listed for 1.5, I'm not gonna go, or 3, whatever it may be, right? They're not gonna go. They agreed to not view those properties.
And that's something that I was thinking about too. I was saying, man, you know what? This might really push commissions to go higher than what they are now.
Yes.
Because everybody's gonna be with their hands out. Right now, if you think about
being negotiated up front.
Well, the thing is this. Right now, everybody knows that if they go on the MLS, they're bound by whatever the MLS says. That's it. No more. That's what you get. You deal with it. But now, with it not being an MLS, it's literally like, hey, I'm not selling your house unless you give me 10%.
Yeah, I think that's also what they do in California. They're just like on the, private remarks or agent remarks. They say, hey, my client is giving, X amount of commission.
This is another very interesting and has a lot of insight. Another comment here, and this is from CO Arsenal, and it was 3 days ago. It says, NAR is a laughable collection of clowns.
That's your facts.
Let's see. There's another one here that I found. It says, agents need alternative MLS to break up the NAR monopoly. Is that something you think that can be implemented?
So there's some people that are doing that. There's people that are setting their own MLS to get away from NAR. Because, see, you guys just got into the business, but you guys don't know how bad NAR sold us out to Zillow. They literally sold us out to Zillow to make money, you know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something real quick. I will give this a tip to everybody, right? And the only reason I will is because nobody can do it. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of realtors, they're not going to be able to do this. But as you know, we started our Lionsgate acquisitions team, right? Or it's a separate company from Lionsgate Realty, and we do wholesaling, we do off market deals, and property management, et cetera, right? Well, that's what's going to happen now. A lot of people are not going to want to deal with it. And I've seen this happen. More than ever now, where the realtor is so hated that somebody wants to sell a home and they're like, I just want $80,000 or I just want $100,000 and I'm done with it, And you can literally grab that home, turn around and sell it to an investor and make way more than your 6%, 3%, and I was looking at the acquisitions team, and we're averaging between I think 20 to 25% commissions if you put a pencil to it, right? And that's without ripping people off. We're literally trying to help people, and that's full disclosure. We're a real estate company, so we have to disclose what we're doing. We're not doing none of this, back end stuff that these wholesalers that are not licensed are doing, right? And so that's what's gonna start happening a lot, where you're gonna start just doing wholesale deals. You're gonna start doing net listings. I was surprised how many people don't know what a net listing is. You're gonna start seeing a lot of net listings. You start looking at wholesale deals. You start seeing a lot of people just, it's gonna get
break that down. What
really
is a net listing?
You don't know what a net listing is?
Break it down for the audience.
Oh, sorry. So a net listing, essentially what it is it's like a wholesale deal. You have to tell the seller what the home can sell for on the market. Okay, that's one. Has to be disclosed in writing, right? And I'm not giving you instructions on how to do it as a wholesaler, right? Because if you're a wholesaler and you're a dirtbag, you could do whatever you want. Okay. You have to tell them what the market is for, right? Or what is the market, right? You have to tell them too, if it's a distressed property, how much is going to take to get it to them, right? Then you make him, he tells you what he wants for the property. So if he says, hey, I only want 100,000, have to disclose it's worth 150. If he says, I don't care, I just want my 100, I want a net $100,000. After taxes, after commissions, after everything, that's what I want. So then you contract him for that price, turn around, put it on the market, and sell it for however much you want. And you can make, you can make $60,000, $70,000 if you want to. It's legal, it's above board, and it's disclosed. And so yeah, that's where this is gonna go to. You're gonna see a whole lot of that pretty soon.
For the best.
I don't know.
It's not for the best for the buyer, but that's and once again going back to to the seller, sorry. It's not for the best of the seller, right? But it's just going back to the, you have to disclose to him what it sells for, and if he makes that decision, if to him just getting rid of the headache is worth losing any kind of potential, right? Because it's not like you're buying it from him.
Correct.
It's potential. If he's willing to give up that potential profit, that's on him. That's on him. You can't. As long as everything is documented, disclosed, he could come back at closing. Because remember, he's gonna sign at closing. He's gonna know what it was worth. He's gonna know what he lost, right? And you sold it to somebody else, and you made your money, right? If he comes back a year later talking about, hey, well, you ripped me off or you took advantage of me. No, I disclosed to you how much it was worth. I disclosed to you what you needed. You didn't have the money to do it at that time. You were going to lose the property, or you were going to this, or you were going to that. And, I did everything that I could. And you were too concerned about my 6% commission that you let me make, 50% commission.
You know what? That's a really, really good point to touch on, because I just had this conversation with somebody earlier this week, and I had to, which I'm a big proponent of, right? I always say get out of your feelings whenever you're within a deal. It doesn't matter what you feel. It always matters what's the best for your client. So if your client, what's best for them is to walk away with $5 versus $10,000 when you can hold out another 2 months. If they need that $5 now, that's what's best for them, right? I had somebody tell me about a deal that they were doing. It was an owner finance deal in my area, in my side of town, where I know that owner finance is automatically, well, not automatically, right? But more than likely, you're going to be paying anywhere in between 15 to 20%. Well, this was a 5% down payment, and they only charge 6% in interest. I was like, wait, hold on. I was like, wait, what? But before I was going to chastise this person for that, right? I was like, what did you just do to your client? Like, you know how much more money? I was like, you could have got one of my people. I would have got you an extra $5,000, $10,000 for that. Like, that's crazy up front, right? Some more commission money. But his client needed to get that property off his hands. And I had to slow down before I wanted to jump on top of this guy and be like, what are you doing? I was like, I had to ask him these questions. Why did your client take that deal? Did you talk to them about this? They're like, yeah, I told them that more than likely owner finance is usually 10% interest. At the bare minimum, 8%, right? Bare minimum down payment, 10%, not 5%. Yeah. Guess what the balloon was? The average balloon in my area is 5 years. This was a 20-year balloon.
Wow.
And I was like, what? But that's what this particular client needed. And I think we're going back to that.
Yeah,
like, you have to completely remove yourself from the deal itself and actually focus on what the client needs.
But, this is, attorneys get, lawyers, they get so upset whenever I compare myself to an attorney or a lawyer, right? They get so upset because I actually, I handle foreclosures, I handle evictions, I handle all those things, right?
That fifth ward degree is heavy duty, bro.
so when I go to court, right, I'm representing my client. And sometimes I'm representing my client against other attorneys, okay? And I've only learned this, right, from just years of doing, and I know no other law but, and I'm not a lawyer, and I know law. I didn't say I practice law. I know law. I know no other law than real estate tenant rights laws, okay? Only because I sit in those courts probably about 2 times a month. I'm sitting in a courtroom, okay? Up to the federal level, okay? Right on the street. And the thing is this. Okay, I tell people, what is the definition of an attorney? And one of the definitions of an attorney is a person appointed to act for another in business or a legal matter. So when I'm representing you, right, as a realtor, I'm handling contracts here in Texas, okay? So I am an attorney for you, acting in behalf of you, right? So this is the thing right here. And this is really interesting.
Hold
Okay,
on, hold on.
I don't like
In
talking about this.
theory, in theory.
I don't want to. This is really interesting. Okay, and you know,
Hypothetically,
I'm only getting the big. I'm only getting
Hearsay.
getting the big-headed ego boost that only an attorney can carry. That is from watching them, right? I guess it's contagious.
I know
right?
Florida only practiced law in Mexico, but she's
Yeah,
getting
right.
nervous right now.
Yeah,
I
she
think
is, she is.
You need to say
So-
the right words.
So listen to this. Have you guys ever been in a courtroom, right, where you know the person is innocent, right? But the person doesn't want to go through the lengthy, embarrassing trial and will take a plea bargain, right? Is that attorney unethical, or is that attorney a bad attorney because he let his client do that?
You should never let your client snitch.
I mean, think about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You should never let your client snitch. So if
But
you
they do.
but they do right now. I don't know anybody who does. But the thing is this: if they take a plea bargain, right, or they take a
Paco.
that's terrible. If they take a settlement, right?
I should have chosen another name. There's
Yeah,
a billion
we know
Pacos.
like 20 Pacos, bro. You gotta watch out what Paco we're talking about. It's not my Paco from Tulum, bro. That's a stand-up guy.
Yeah,
So
I
the thing
can't
is
go
this,
to my graduation, my cousin's graduation next week. Yeah.
so the thing is this, okay? If you know, you just brought somebody up I didn't thought about in years. So the thing is this, okay? If they take a plea bargain, you don't chastise that attorney and say you're a bad attorney because you let him take a plea bargain. You're a bad attorney because you have all these people that settle or do these things. No, you don't think about it like that. So it's no different from a real estate agent. At the end of the day, it's your client's decision if they want to take that loss. It's your client's decision if they want to do these things. You might not feel it. You might be emotionally like, no, but you could get more. Just wait. It's happened to me a lot of times. But when you can separate your emotions from business, that's when you're a real estate professional.
True. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and exit out. I think we covered pretty much most of it without getting our attorney Nate here involved.
I love that. But that's
All right, I'm going to go ahead and let Floyd exit, let everybody know where they can find you, and then, of course, we'll get the rest.
You can find me in all my social medias as Flor Velasquez Realtor. I also host the Spanish podcast, Houston Sin Límites. If you speak Spanish and want to join, let us know.
And this is Mario Martinez. You can find me at Mario A. Martinez or Mario A. Martinez in any social media. And I'm in the new home sales industry in Houston.
And as Nathan Valderas, once again, I am not an attorney and I am not giving any legal advice. But you can find me at Better Call Nate and all my social media outlets.
I am Giovanni Frank, your local Houston realtor here. I'm also the host of HBR here at Lionsgate Realty. Feel free to look for me on Instagram or YouTube under Giovanni_Frank. Until next time.
Nate talking about all these attorneys just makes me want to go back to law school.
I should have used another name.
You know
than
what you
Paco,
should
bro.
do, though?